Hello. So I read another short essay by Arthur Schopenhauer. It's on books and writing. It was recommended to me by Michael Morleau. He commented on the last Schopenhauer video that I just did. And it's Schopenhauer's views and opinions and judgments on what is what makes a good book and what makes good writing. And very simply, he's making a case that one should read good books and not bad books. And he goes on to describe what makes a good book and what makes a bad book. Very simply, a good writer has something to say, and a bad writer's main motivation is money. And um, one of the main one of the other points that he's making is that our time is precious, and during his lifetime, he felt that too many people were spending too much time reading bad writing. And uh, he actually talks about the newspaper trash. He says that the newspaper is trash, and uh, it's interesting to think of what Schopenhauer would think of um, like the internet today, and all of the things that are written for clicks and no other reason. He has some funny, peculiar opinions on writing style. Not that he's wrong at all. Most writers have little quirks, and so he believes that um, uh, good writing should be um, sentences that contain uh, single thoughts that are arranged in a logical order. That might sound self-evident, but what he then specifically gets at is that he doesn't like parentheses. So it bothers him when he's reading something and the writer decides to stop mid thought and then insert another thought and then go back to the original thought. He says bad writing. Uh, and there's nothing wrong with, obviously, there's nothing wrong with having style choices that you prefer. Like Vonnegut didn't like semicolons, whatever. Um, and there was another passage that I'll read. Buying books would be a good thing if one could also buy the time to read them in. But as a rule, the purchase of books is mistaken for the appropriation of their contents. For the booktube world, I imagine that could be taken to heart. Um, the amount of, especially the book hauls that I see, and I'm guilty of the same thing. Um, Getting wild-eyed with stacks of books that you either all believe that you'll always get to them, or have realistic expectations. Um, Also, the idea that being surrounded by books can somehow educate through osmosis or something, which I tend to think maybe isn't entirely outrageous. Um, if you're around books, you're more likely to be reading them. So there is something to be said for that. Um, and yeah, very entertaining. Um, thoughtful. I mean, it's very thought provoking. Just clearly stating that when you're reading something, a good author has something to impart, has something to say, um, as a main motivation. Um, anyway, leave a comment if you'd like, and thank you for watching. Bye. And here's Andy.